Colin Cowherd is a radio host. I think most people know, right? He has a radio show, and a topic came up. LeBron, after playing a game in Las Vegas, made a point to say that to Adam Silver, like, I want to own a team, and I want that team to be in Vegas. So that started to bring up stuff. So there's a segment on Colin's show talking about maybe expansion, whatever. Colin Cowherd suggested that Sacramento, the league should move the Sacramento Kings to Las Vegas. Here's how it went down.
Sacramento.
Well, you can't have an odd number team.
I mean, I would strongly consider moving Sacramento.
Well, you can't have an odd number team, so you need two, right? Vegas, and a lot of people are saying bring one back to Seattle.
I would move. I would move Sacramento to Vegas. We just moved the Raiders to Vegas. It was a home run. Sacramento.
It's not a bad idea.
Free agents don't want to play there. I'd move the Kings. Nothing against Sacramento, but I'd move the player. You got to be a market. You got to be a market that players, free agents, at least look at.
You don't think people want to go to Sacramento?
I just don't think players want to go there.
Okay, so look, no one's going to sit here, Morgan, and suggest that Sacramento is a top free agent destination in the NBA.
Not at all.
I'm not trying to do the, hey, I'm going for the cheap pop. And Colin, you don't say that about my city. No, what I'm suggesting is a guy who makes millions and millions of dollars going on his platform, and even suggesting that a team get moved, to me, is tacky.
Mm-hmm.
The league is not in a point where it needs to contract teams. Hell, the league is at a point where they may be expanding soon, right? Vegas and Seattle could be top targets. There's some financial things they have to work out. But suggesting moving Sacramento, it's just like, look, I get the Kings aren't good. I know they've been bad for so long. Let me pick them. Move them. It's the ignorance. It's the casual. He's a casual. He's a casual. He knows nothing about the NBA. He's never been to a Kings game in Sacramento. And what's so fascinating about it is, how about you realize the fact that the Kings just built a brand new building in 2016. Like, what are you saying? And then free agent destination. Oh, Colin, really? Is this where we're going to go, right? Maybe instead of stop thinking about filling segments on your radio show and actually use your brain a little bit here, because if we're going by cities, why haven't the Knicks landed every free agent target? New York's the best city out there. #1 media market. It's New York City. It's Madison Square Garden. They've got everything you need. The greatest city in the world. And who do they land? It's not about city as much as it used to be. I'm not saying it doesn't play a role.
Because it does.
If the Knicks were competent and the Kings were competent, more people probably go to New York.
Absolutely.
But you know what matters to players nowadays, in my opinion? Culture matters. Situation matters. If you can build a legitimate situation, you can get players to come, right? Memphis now is more of a destination. More players are interested in playing for the Memphis Grizzlies than they were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The Golden State Warriors, before Steph Curry, there's a free agent destination, but they've changed their reputation. They drafted well. They traded for the right guys. They hired the right coaches, hired the front office. That's how you do it. And Colin knows better than that. He's just trying to fill time on his show. It was lazy analysis by Colin Cowherd.
That's it. And a little irresponsible in the sense of, I just think that when you try and say that about a city that has already had so many traumatic experiences from almost having their team moved, and not truly the amount of jobs and everything else that comes with it, with this team and what it's brought to Sacramento, it just shows his ignorance to it. And I am fine with Colin Cowherd not knowing every single thing about every single city.
But don't you think he should know that the Kings were literally on the doorstep of moving to Seattle? I mean, it was a big sports story.
Deuce, 100%. Yeah. That was a huge sports story. But it's not only that. It's just like you said. It's lazy. It's casual. And if you're going to talk about it, do a little bit more of your research. Just like I said earlier when I was listening to the Ringer podcast, and they were talking about the Sacramento Kings and their defense and everything. They didn't know every single guy. They weren't going deep down into the roster. But they did enough of their homework to share the narrative and of their educated guess of where the Kings could be. That is just like the bullshit old hot take radio stuff that we are just like over. And I can understand why that irresponsible narrative could fire some people up.
Yeah. I was a little fired up about it.
Yeah,
today.
you were.
It's like, just be better. You come on.